What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 129. Yes, episode 129, guys. I'm kind of left speechless as we're starting this stream because if you guys know me, then you know last night, when I should say early this morning, when these new figures were
You were probably
announced
not getting
and
a whole lot of
teased.
sleep.
No, I actually, surprisingly, once I was able to look at it for like 10 minutes or so, I sent the post to a bunch of friends and stuff, and I was responding to other people messaging me. I actually fell right asleep because I was pretty tired. But yeah, to say the least, I'm very, very excited for this stuff this week. And then we have some stuff that was still kind of bleeding over from last week that we have to take a look at. So really, really exciting week. Probably one of the most exciting weeks for me in quite a while because not only do we have Predator stuff, a Predator that really came out of nowhere, which we're going to talk about, of course. We had the release of the clean T-800, and we also had an announcement for a new Anakin Skywalker figure. And guys, this is like a good I told you so moment because look, call me the wizard, if you will. But I said it so many times that I did not believe that Sith apprentice Anakin was the dark side Anakin 2.0. And I had a lot of people tell me I was wrong. And, you know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But this time I'm glad that I was right. Chris and I had talked about it so many times. Evil Sneaker and I talked about it so many times. And it's so crazy. Evil Sneaker and I, Steve and I were like, you know, theorizing what this Anakin and Obi-Wan Revenge of the Sith 2.0 could look like. And I kid you not, to the T, everything that we kind of dreamed up between each other, it happened. And it's just so crazy. Obviously, the Obi-Wan hasn't been announced yet, but...
Well, and it's funny is I think I remember mentioning one of the possible like names they could do would be either like, you know, Anakin Mustafar Final Duel or Darth Vader Final Duel to get around the dark side Anakin. Like naming
right. They're like
used.
giving them the same shit, and some stuff is confusing, and I don't want to get too much into the Anakin yet because we're not going to start with that, but we are going to have a heavy discussion about the Anakin. I'm going to point some things out. You guys may have watched my video that I put up today because I was just way too excited to talk about it. I had to make a video. But there's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest, a lot to compare, and then out of nowhere, the fucking listing was pulled, and then we get a coming soon for a Darth Vader Mustafar Artisan. Like, what the heck, dude?
And I did check, but like the sculpted Anakin is like still up. You can pre-order like on Common Concepts. Like they still have it up where you can just actively order.
Weird. Cause yeah, so John from Off the Racks was never able to put it up. Of course, I was messing with John. I messaged John last night, and he was like, "It's still not available yet. I'll check tomorrow morning." And then checked Off the Racks in the morning. It wasn't up. I sent him the GIF of Palpatine. It's treason. Then I sent him that, and then he's like, "I still can't order it." So then it made sense when it got pulled. So yeah, but guys, I do have a bit of a little announcement for you. So I did get some samples. I don't know if some of you guys peeped. I did get some samples of the merch. Unfortunately, the hat turned out like absolute shit. So we're scrapping the hat for now. I need to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what happened, but you know, my design was accepted. I submitted it to the company. They didn't come back and say like anything was too small or anything like that. And when it came back, it looked terrible. The stitching was all thrown off. Like I almost feel like I should get my money back because like they literally made errors on the stitching and everything. So it looked really bad. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and see what I can do with that. But I might be wearing the first members shirt here.
Oh, nice.
So you could see, and this is a large. I mean, you know, fits me pretty good. I go to the gym, so I feel like a large on me is like a schmedium. But it feels good, and I wanted to get shirts. I don't know how you guys feel about this. For me, I like shirts that like hug you in all the right places, but not in the belly. You know what I mean? Like if you go to the gym, you want it to hug the sleeves and the chest, but not be too tight. So regardless, they'll be offered in all sizes. I want to test one more shirt blank because this shirt is nice, but I would like to see it about something a little bit softer. So I'm going to try one more shirt company and see how it looks. This particular shirt, guys, is for members only. So if you are a Hotline Hottie, it will be available in limited quantities up on the store once I test one more shirt blank. But I love it, guys. I think it's awesome. I kept it simple on this first one. I didn't want to overdo it, put anything on the sleeves or anything. So it's just on the front. And but I will have stuff that's available for everybody. So this is just like a members only type of thing, just like a way to give back to you guys and do something a bit like exclusive, you know. But yeah. So I just wanted to show you that, guys. I'm wearing it right now.
There's a term when being on a stream about Hot Toys you may have heard too much this year. Exclusive.
Yeah, this is the Artisan edition of the Hot Toys.
Yeah, the Artisan exclusive edition of.
But it doesn't come with a price hike, so that's a good thing. It doesn't come with a price hike, but yeah, really exciting, guys. 41 people in the house already. What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here. I'm going to say what's up, everybody, in the chat, and then we'll get going. A lot of really cool stuff to talk about this week, and I want to just ramble on and on about everything this week. And yeah, so we got Ryan the Collector in the house, Hotline Hottie, dropping the popcorn emoji. Thanks for being here as always, my friend. I appreciate you. We got one Adam 12 in the house. What's up, my dude? Another Hotline Hottie, and all around great dude. Adam says, hello, Hotline Hotties. I feel a disturbance in the force. Hope all is well. Thank you for being here, my friend. I'm not sure if Michael Jackson made his way to you quite yet. I know it was pretty close to you, so you'll have to let us know. I know you're planning on doing a review eventually for it because that's something you like to do, so let us know, dude. Big Ribs in the house. What's up, my dude? Another Hotline Hottie. What's up, my friend? Thanks for being here. Big Rib, I hope there's something for you this week because I feel like there's a little bit of something for everybody. Even that Batman, I mean, it wasn't for me, but it's got to be for somebody, right? We got Figured Out in the house, another Hotline Hottie. What's up, my dude? Thanks for being here, bro, as always. I love that username, Figure It Out. It just reminds me of like a 90s
It is
sitcom.
funny, that figure, too, that XE suit is not actually even based on is not even a variant suit that actually you can use for it in the DLC in the game.
Yeah, which is weird. I know
it's totally...
Like they've done a lot of statues, and like McFarlane did figures of it in the past, but Fig Poser, what's up, my dude? Thanks for being here, bro, as always. That's my dude right there. I hope you're doing well, man. Chris says, Collecting Madness is in the house. He says, I'll do my best to be on. May end up being 8. Guys, no excuses here, right? We will not accept any excuses when an Anakin is announced from Chris, right? That's we're setting that precedent now. But thanks for being here, Chris. I know, dude. I know. But we're going to talk about that. There is a silver lining for me, at least personally. Because at first it caught me off guard and I was a little upset. And then I actually digested it. I'm like, it's not that bad. We got Carner Collectibles. This is an actual local friend of mine, a good buddy of mine. What's up? And I know his name's Kevin. And he actually has the Sith Apprentice Vader himself. And he was kind of debating back and forth after that new announcement today what to do. And I'm glad that he came up to a decision on it. Which this is also the guy that made me one of the 2 people that really made me buy a shit ton of these Rangers. I've got my boy Tommy sitting on the desk here, but yeah, I just went crazy on the Power Rangers. I waited and waited, and I finally decided to pull the trigger on them. We got Tijuana Mike in the house. What's up, my dude? Another Hotline Hottie. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here as always. He says, "What's up, collectors?" We got Payton23 in the house. A moderator, Hotline Hottie, and an all-around great dude. What's up, my friend? Saying good evening to everyone. Ash Chase in the house. Ash Chase says, I was right about pop culture getting Brown Suit Wolverine, and yes, he's coming home. Well, congrats on that, my friend. I know that's one that a lot of people are really excited about, and thank you so much for being here. Another Hotline Hottie. I appreciate you, my friend. My boy Valk in the house. Guys, as always, I see some other comments piling through. I'll try my best to read them. As I always say, as we start talking about these figures, we'll have more time tonight because we have a smaller panel. I'll read as many of your comments as I can. My dude Valk in the house, a moderator, a Hotline Hottie, and an all-around gentleman, one of my favorite dudes. Valk says, good afternoon, Connor and friends. Good evening for us here on the East Coast. Thank you for being here, my friend, as always. And Figure It Out, making us jealous. He was able to order 2 Anakins before they pulled the listing down from Sideshow. You should sell them for just an insane amount of money before they actually go up on the 1st of October. Of course, I'm just joking. But congrats on being able to get that order in early before they pulled the rug on us there. We got Moose in the house, the OG Hotline Hottie. What's up, my friend? Moose says, hello, community collectors. Battle Damage Darth Vader has arrived at my P.O. box along with my kid pools. Kid pools, that's plural. Congrats on that, Moose, and that's crazy that you got more than one kid pool. But I would expect nothing less from you, my friend. Ricardo's in the house. What's up, Ricardo? Ricardo saying hello. I hope you're doing well, Ricardo. Thank you for being here. Pedro Lopez in the house. And Pedro, tonight, this really rings true. Hashtag Hotline confirmed. The Sith Apprentice Anakin, or excuse me, Sith Apprentice Vader was not the Dark Side Anakin 2.0. That is now hashtag Hotline.
Yeah, that's exactly. What he meaning to be laughing. He means to be doing that.
You gotta follow it up with that for sure. Jose Plus in the house, my sweetie. What's up, Jose? Thanks for being here, bro. Jose says, hey, bummed I didn't get to boo Connor this week, but happy there's an actual stream. Well, Jose, of course I couldn't miss out on talking about Anakin. Tonight you have to boo Chris for not making it to talk about Anakin, because there's a potential he won't make it, so we got to boo him tonight. Batman Collectibles, what's up, dude? Thanks for being here, bro. As always, good to see ya. Batman, did that figure, that Hellbat suit hit your radar? I feel like maybe not. It did not hit my radar, and you know how crazy I am about Batman as well, but I'm very curious. Christian Crosshair Cooper in the house. What's up, my friend? Hope you're doing well, bro. Always great to see you. Thanks for being here, as always. We got SG Collectibles, another Hotline Hottie. Thanks for being here, my friend. I appreciate you, as always, for hanging out with us. We got Robert in the house. What's up, Robert? Another Hotline Hottie. I know Robert is excited about something this week, because there's just, like I said, there's a little bit of everything for everybody, and I always love those weeks. Yes, my boy David in the house. David, absolutely rip our wall. It's just, I know for us, this stuff was like all kind of up our alley, so yeah, it's hurting the wallet for sure. 16 Star Wars Pimpazoid in the house. What's up, my friend? 16 says, what's up? Big delivery today. Echo 5s, Battle Damage Vader, and 3 of the Scum and Villainy line. That's crazy. I have 2 on the way, and I saw that Dr. Evazen was actually fixed. So apparently he's not the overly tanned look like he was in the photo, in the video from Sideshow. So I'm glad to see that. And sadly, we have Mike in the chat saying what's up. Hotline. What should we call Mike? He calls me Hottie Prawn. He would be just under me, I guess. We got to come up with a name for Mike, but thank you for being here, Mike. I wish you could make it. I know you're here in spirit, but thanks for being here. And what's up, Wayne? I see you popping in, Wayne. And as always, guys, I'll read your comments. I don't want to draw it too much, because I know a lot of people start getting tired of me saying what's up to everybody, but that's why we're here, right? So thank you for being here, Wayne, and everybody else. We're going to get started, guys. We're going to start strong, in my opinion, talking about a release that, to me, came out freaking excellent. And, of course, we're talking about the Clean T-800. And one thing I want to point out that made me very happy with this release is the fact that they fixed the glasses.
Yeah.
Because in the original announcement photos for this figure, and we saw the prototype at Secret Base, there was like this weird angle to the top of the glasses, and it's like they went backwards from the original MMS release of this version of Arnie, and it looks freaking ridiculous. And I'm like, that's something that's like easy for you to fix, easy for you to get right. All you got to do is fix the brow line on the glasses, and I'm glad that they did. I've looked at these photos enough. Of course, first it's like mental trickery. You're like, you don't want to believe that they actually fixed them, but they did fix them. Are they 100% perfect? No, but going back and looking at stills and videos from the film, I think they're pretty spot on in comparison to what they were. They're very, very close, and I think they're at a point to where they're good enough to where I feel like I don't need to get any custom glasses. But I think he looks absolutely awesome. I think he turned out great. Seeing him here in this iconic pose just makes me want this figure right now. This is how I would display mine personally. I would love to have him in the black t-shirt with the model shotgun. They include hands to have him like cocking the lever back. It's just perfect, right? For me, when it comes to this film, and yeah, this shot right here, absolutely love how this figure looks, man. These hands just make this figure so cool. And for me, I always say this, like the most iconic scene and memorable scene for me, seeing this movie for the first time as a kid, is that opening bar scene where he goes in there and he gets the cigar put out on his chest, and he just obviously is, completely unaffected by it, and their reactions to it, how he takes the guy's clothes, his boots, his motorcycle. And for me, that's the look that I got to go with. And I know Lane really likes that minigun look, and I do too. I love that scene as well. But for me, if I can only choose one look for this clean version, this is how I'm going to display mine. I think it looks awesome. Again, the glasses being fixed is a huge, huge improvement. And I got to say, I think this sculpt looks excellent. I think they did a great job on this head sculpt. I think it looks really nice. I think it's one of the strongest head sculpts that I've ever seen of Arnold. And I was a little bit skeptical about it at first, because the original prototype photos, it felt like maybe in a couple spots it could have been improved a little bit, and they came through. And now I know people are going to bring up the texture on the neck. It doesn't bother me. I mean, in certain lighting, yes, it might be more pronounced than other shots, but I think it looks fine. It doesn't bother me that much. You got to run them with the glasses, though. Even without the glasses on, this is 100% Arnold to me. I think this is a fantastic head sculpt.
The musculature, like his skin over with his cheekbones, all that stuff. Yeah. Now, here's how I would ask you just a question. With not directly apparent, but how do you feel this one, the final sculpt looking as a likeness for Arnold at that's, in the points of the movie here compares? Do you compare it more favorably versus the DX46? Or do you think that one? Because I know there's been a little, and I don't mean the quality of it, because I think the quality of the DS46 battle damage is perfect. Like, it's great. But I mean, for looking like Arnold, this one, for you, how do you feel like that likeness from that point in the movie? Do you think
I think this looks just as good. Yeah, I mean, the other one has the benefit of having a breakup of the likeness and the fact that you've got like endoskeleton poking through, and then obviously you've got the alternate sculpt where the entire endoskeleton eye section is showing. This one, you can't really hide your crimes as easily because you have a full head sculpt here. I think it's excellent. Comparing one to the other, they're two different, though they are the same character, they're two different phases of the T-800, and I don't want to pit them against each other in that way, because I think they're both excellent. I just think that we are extremely lucky to finally have two extremely solid Terminator figures from Hot Toys.
With leather.
With real leather, a nice assortment of accessories. The T-800 battle damage has that beautiful base. This is awesome, dude. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. There's really not much I have to say bad about this. In some shots, does the lapel and the jacket look a little big? Yeah, but after seeing some of these photos, I feel it's the photographer and how they pose the figure and how they present it behind the camera. Because in a lot of shots, it looks perfectly fine. Looks perfectly fine. What did Kaiju Daddy say?
He's just like, when's the T-800 giveaway?
Soon, Kaiju, whenever Lane can get his hands on the 10 that he's giving away, we'll start announcing those giveaways.
Oh, yeah.
Kaiju, thank you for being here, my friend. As always, I appreciate you. I'm always in Kaiju's stream over on his channel, trolling them about their 1/12 scale figures and having fun over there. So, thanks for being here, bro. I see Yomo in the house as well. Warren, what's up, my dude? Warren said you guys already get your brown and tan. That was a pass for me. I did not go for that.
I did pre-order because I'm getting 0 Deadpool and Wolverine figures. So, but I want a Jackman Wolverine from the few Marvel figures I'm going to own. So that one's kind of a perfect standalone figure.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, what's up, my friend Dante in the house? What's up, dude? I know Dante is a massive Terminator fan, and I know he's really excited for this. And he says, hello, guys. Cannot wait for this Terminator. Dude, it looks awesome. Again, having two really solid Terminator releases back-to-back is very, very exciting. It makes me happy that I ditched my Present Toys versions. It was nice to have them while I had them, but seeing these now, these are currently like the ultimate, Terminator collectibles within this price range, because you could talk about like the Queen Studios 1-to-1 scale bust that looks amazing with the shotgun slung over
eventually upcoming Prime 1 third scale statues, but they're like $2,500.
Right. So for this price range, I feel like it's unbeatable.
Oh yeah,
they just look great. Yes, they will be included they come with a swoop bike.
The Terminator swoop bike. Yeah. But, Disney's slowly buying everything, so why not eventually we could have that crossover.
Right. We got Big Dog Pound in the house. Sorry, Big Dog Pound. Chris is not here with his belts, but I'll give you a big woo. What's up, my friend? Thanks for being here as always.
Hello, Dog Pound.
But
man,
yes,
so that means
guys,
maybe we can eventually get an Alien versus Predator versus Jedi versus Terminator.
Maybe, Lane. I don't know. Now I know a lot of people are commenting on the arm here with so he does come with seamless arms. Is it new?
Is this a new accessory with this one, or did they have that?
No, it came with the original one. So here's the complaint with this one. A lot of people, and to be fair, if you look at the prototype announcement photos, this is not seamless. But at some conventions and initially in Secret Base after it was announced, they had a seamless version of this arm in the display. So that created confusion, and understandably so. This does not come with the seamless arm. It is jointed so you can kind of pose it. Would I have preferred a seamless arm just for looks? Yeah. Am I ever going to use this? No. And you can see that joint there. Yes, it's a bit unsightly, but you know the case with this is one of those single jointed arms. You're going to have an exposed joint. That's just how it is. Or a visible
Honestly, I'm going to ask you, how many times are you going to use it, and is it really going to matter?
Yeah, you'll never use it. But I do understand the complaints because they did show it off multiple times. It's weird that they showed that if they weren't going to go that route. You know, I don't know if that arm was just seamless and fixed or if it was seamless posable, because this does come with seamless posable arms, swap out arms. But yeah, I would never use this look personally. Even if I had him in the gray T-shirt, it would be for the minigun look, like Lane's going after. I would never, like, this is how I would run them if I had them. If I had enough space, I would buy both, two copies to have both looks. But I don't have enough space to do that or money because there's so much other shit coming out. But I do agree with Lane. This is a great look. I had my Present Toys one in this look for a while. Having them fully geared out with the grenade launcher rounds and everything is really cool. But again, nothing tops that black T-shirt for me. And see this right here. I want to steal this pose right here.
Even if I put him with the Gatling gun, I'm probably going to keep him in the black shirt just because, like you, I prefer the black shirt. Just look in general.
Yeah, me too. It's just so menacing and like. Alternatively, you could have them with the rose box. And they actually did change the sculpt to the roses from the original MMS release to this. I actually still have the original MMS release rose box. So I might like mix and match the roses to make it look cool. But yeah, this is the pose I'm going to have mine in. I'm probably going to steal this. I do have, shout out to the Figure Hideout as always. Maybe if we start playing his video, he'll come out of nowhere like he usually does. But yeah, Dante says, even if the Terminator looks like Moose, it's still coming home. Well, that's dedication right there. But yeah, big shout out to the Figure Hideout. This is his early look video. Obviously, there's no full reviews up yet because this just got released, and it takes a little time to do reviews. But I got to say, in this video, if you aren't already excited for it, seeing it in this video, it makes you even more excited. And Figure Hideout does such a great job.
And no plastic cover connector.
Oh, real? Oh, yeah, because he has the maybe they kind of did like I don't remember exactly what he showed in the video. Is it kind of like the one that comes with the battle damage version, just with no batteries in it? Is that what they did? They just reuse that? I'm guessing.
Maybe, but that makes me happy.
Yeah. No, it is cool. It's cool not to have to deal with that connector, but the attention to detail with this figure is amazing. Like the little porthole in his head with the peeled back flesh and the little chip. I mean, I would never mess with this. Lane and I were talking about this briefly before we started the stream. I would never mess with it, but it's really cool. It's cool attention to detail. It's cool to see stuff like that. But again, I don't know if anybody would pose it that way, but it is cool. It's cool to play around with. You play around with it once and you're like, awesome. I'm cool. I'm glad that it could do that. This is what I was talking about with the roses. The roses are a bit smaller, and I think it comes with more in the original MMS release. So it's interesting they changed that. I haven't looked at any scenes to see if that's like an accuracy thing or what. But dude, he looks amazing. I'm so excited for this. Here's the seamless swap out arm there. Looks
I'm wondering
really
how easy it is to take out the arms. That is one thing I am wondering.
I don't know. I've never had many issues with that stuff.
Just because Wolverine supposedly was very hard.
Yeah, I always use heat, and you believe it or not, it makes things light years easier if you just use like a hair dryer. It's very simple. It makes things a lot easier, especially with hand pegs too. Makes it very, very easy. What's up, Lou? Lou says this figure is a masterpiece. Yeah, this one and the Battle Damage T-800, dude, they're very, very special. Obviously, this one is a more bare bones release in terms of what it comes with, but that's the money shot right there. Great looking figure. We're not going to spend too much more time on this just because we have a lot more to talk about, but very excited for this. I wish I had it already, but it's definitely coming home. I have this on pre-order along with the Battle Damage version as well. It's hard to not get to, but because there is a Battle Damage and a clean version, that will satiate me for sure. And I have the T-1000, which I probably will get an alternate body for, depending on what Topo works out for that. I'm sure they'll do some sort of set with the body. Haven't quite confirmed that with them yet, but if they do that, that'll be like my secondary body to do the cop look for the T-1000. But very, very exciting. I cannot wait to get this in hand. And I'm hearing so many good things about the DX46 for those that have it in hand. So I can only imagine this will be as good, if not better, depending on who you ask. What's up, my friend Manny in the house? Another hotline hottie. What's up, my friend? Thanks for being here as always. Not much, Manny. We just started talking about the T-800. We're actually about to move on to another, arguably another killing machine. John Wick, guys. You guys saw that the John Wick Artisan and sculpted versions were teased right when J&D announced that they were putting theirs up for pre-order. Hot Toys came out of nowhere and said, hey, hold your horses, everybody. We got something of our own up our sleeve. And seeing these full photos here.
Now, finally, yeah.
Right. I think this sculpt is leaps and bounds better than either offering from J&D. I think Hot Toys freaking nailed this. And what we're taking a look at here, if you didn't pay attention there, it is the Artisan version that we're taking a look at.
Which John? Is this John Wick 1?
Yes, this is John Wick 1.
Okay. I thought he didn't look quite as old like he did in, 3 or 4.
I think his outfit changes multiple times in John Wick 1. Like, a lot of people are saying that they didn't remember the J&D look from John Wick 1, but I think that gray suit he has at the very end of the film. But, dude, for me, and you do have kind of alternate looks with this as well. You have the button-down shirt with the tie, or you have the turtleneck. I don't know. I feel like I'm a turtleneck guy, Lane. I think I like the turtleneck look. It's just like there's something about a freaking trained assassin / killing machine wearing a black turtleneck while he's shooting people. Something about it is just funny and comical to me. But I think by far this is the best looking John Wick that Hot Toys has done. I have the John Wick 4 in my collection. I ordered the Topo custom suit for that. I have the rooted hair wig. I didn't dislike the sculpt. I think the sculpt's pretty good, but this is better for sure. We're finally going to get a look at all of the accessories and everything he comes with. Obviously, a lot of us are curious about that.
That's, I think, the big thing with finally being able to see these pictures and stuff is getting the full picture that, oh, no, he's going to be, like, either version is going to be loaded with all the weapons and accessories that would want with this thing to give him a lot more. You guys can go crazy with different types of posing with different kind of weapons.
Exactly. I do want to put up a poll, guys. I'm opening up freaking Google crap on the side of my screen. Let's see. John Wick. I want to see how many people are going for sculpted versus artisan on this one. Because honestly, arguably, Lane, and you can kind of share your thoughts on this, I feel like this is one of the closest artisan versus sculpted debates in a while because of the hairstyle. The sculpted looks very, very good. So, Lane, what are your thoughts? Artisan versus sculpted. What would you pick if you had to choose one of the two?
Well, considering it's John Wick, I like the John Wick movies, but if I was going to get this, I'd probably get the sculpted. Just because, however, I want to put that in context, just there are so many artisans we have just upcoming, we'll talk about later, like, it's like kind of to the point, just we've had so many in probably the last, month and a half, if you include, like, the Sam from Death Stranding and stuff. I just got a conversion, a week ago. I have to make my mind up if I'm going to get it. Artisan Winter Soldier. So I think this is one of those times where now if you're like John Wick is one of your favorite action movies, then I don't see why you wouldn't try to get the Artisan one at least. But this one, I think they're close enough in look. And honestly, for this guy, I'm wondering, it may depend even how you use the rolling eyes and everything, because if you want to actually use the rolling eyes and really pose this guy up, being able to adjust the eyes is going to be a lot easier because you won't have to worry about. I think that's one thing you have to think about with this is, like, if you're going to leave, and I'll show here because I know people were going to talk about it later, but like I've got the Sith Apprentice here where you've got the hair, and I don't want to touch the eyes because you don't want to mess up the hair. So if Wick seems like one of those characters where part of the fun of like owning this guy is going to be putting him in crazy weapon poses and such, so almost, so you want to adjust the eyes, you want to be able to have him looking different. So I would say in this case, I would almost aim more for the sculpted because you don't have to worry about the artisan hair getting screwed up. Now, because it's shorter hair, maybe it's going to not, it'll be easier to not have, where like Scarlet Witch has got just tons of hair all over the place. You may not mess it up as much.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how much product's in this hair. I would hope that it's kind of a good balance where you can kind of pull some of the hair to the front. That's what I'm really hoping for with this one. That's part of the main reason I want the artisan version, apart from that little bit of added realism. But again, you'll see when we go through the sculpted photos, it's definitely hard to make that argument one way or the other because they're so really, really good looking. Either one of them. It's a close call with this one.
And we need to see the price point for the Artisan too. I think that could play. I mean,
yeah.
Did they shoot up the price a lot between last time we saw this, or is it going to stay more?
Yeah. I mean, that's
if it's 450
so good,
bucks, man. I can see where you're going to go. And the sculpt is like 300 or 290. Yeah. I can see where you go, man. It looks close enough. I'm going to go for the sculptor and not have to worry about being in line.
Like I said, it just comes down to that little bit of added realism, and also if you're able to pull the hair to the front, I think that's an added value for me personally. By the way, congrats Warren on that. That's awesome, dude. I wish I already had mine. And in the chat, I do appreciate Big Dog Pound dropping the link.
Yeah,
this is up for RSVP. This will be going up October 1st at 9 a.m. PT, which I believe is 12 p.m. EST. So make sure you RSVP, mark your calendars. I think this Artisan, honestly, will be easier to get than some because a lot of people are going to be opting for the sculpted on this one. Not obviously, that doesn't guarantee anything, but I think it will be much easier than some other ones. By the way, what's up, Action in the Box? Action in the Box says, I'm from Brazil. I already ordered the John Wick Artisan from Pop Collectibles. That's awesome, dude. Be careful with Pop Collectibles. I've heard some mixed things.
I can speak of mixed.
Yeah, I've heard some mixed things, so just be careful with that. But congrats on your order. That's awesome. We're able to order it already. Warren says the Artisan John Wick costs $482, the special edition. Where is that from? Because it's not up on Sideshow yet. So, like, for us in the U.S., we don't know what it's going to be for us.
That's starting. If it's like that, that's getting into Robo King territory for prices.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. This is hilarious. Big Dog Pound dropping the John Wick quote. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. This is just like the ultimate John Wick figure for me. I love that turtleneck look. It's just something about it. It's just so ironic to me. I do want to scroll through these photos here, man. That sculpt is just friggin' beautiful, man.
One thing I do like.
I was going to say they struggled over the years with the Keanu likeness, like really nailing it in. And other companies did too, and there were so many custom head sculpts and stuff. And I think Hot Toys finally really dialed it in. And the eye holes aren't massive on the prototype, at least. I know some people had their arguments about the eye holes, but I think this looks great, man. I'm really excited for this. The details on the gun belt and everything.
That, man. Yeah, they did a magnificent job with this, and
the alternate looks.
I think they just did like this is. I'm very, like I said, I don't think this is a figure I'm going to go for because I've passed on the other weeks and stuff. There are too many stupid things, as you pointed out, coming, especially. But I will give credit to, despite some of the figures we've got coming from the 25th anniversary, and whatever confusion's happening with Anakin that we'll talk about later, I do think it feels like Hot Toys is really hitting some of their major favorite characters and stuff where they may have done some figures of, but they're doing like definitive high-end versions of them, which sounds like for something like an anniversary like this, you would expect them to do. They're not doing a Delta Squad, trooper, commando trooper or something like that. As much as I would like that, they're doing a John Wick. They're doing a definitive Artisan version, which you may not be in for the price, but hey, there's a definitive version of him you can get, which is going to have all the same stuff pretty much, just not the hair. And they're doing that for like Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader, Anakin. Like they're really hitting some big swing. Now they're also doing a Subzero Fractal Iron Man Mark IV, so they're not completely doing this, or they did for whatever you think of it, they did a Brown Suit Wolverine finally, which is probably the most sought other suit other than the one that came in the movie that people wanted to see.
Yeah, but no, I agree, Lane. This is really cool. It's cool to see big characters like this getting the Artisan treatment. Interestingly enough, which I really like, they're doing the coin with the John Wick. We saw it a lot with the Star Wars figures, obviously, but they're carrying that over to the John Wick, so there is an exclusive coin version, which you'll be able to get through Sideshow. Weirdly enough, let me see. Okay, so they don't show a separate coin version for the Artisan edition, so I'd venture to say that the coin version is all that will be available from Sideshow, but wouldn't that be interesting if there was 2 SKUs, one Artisan without the coin and one with the coin? I mean, they did it with Black Widow. The Artisan Black Widow, you had one with the Tony Stark gauntlet and one without. I don't know. I mean,
because how many? I think someone had posted up they were doing 4,000 of this guy, so maybe it's split.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we'll see. Big Dollbound says, my Airborne Clone Trooper converted. I'm glad I was patient and I didn't have to pay resale. Congrats on that. That's a really sick figure. I cannot wait for that one. I actually am still paying that one off because I probably pushed the payments back because I'm like, I don't need it right now. Sean's in the house. What's up, Sean? Sean says, hello there, driving home from work. Last night I had some great announcements. However, we are still waiting on the 212 Clone Trooper. I know, dude. It's crazy they announced the Airborne, but not the regular 212th. Hopefully one day soon. Just quickly going through the photos of the sculpted again, guys, and we'll take a look at the poll before we move on to the next figure, but really, really hard to make that argument one way or the other because the sculpted looks so freaking good, man. It's just really that hairstyle, too, that lends itself so well, and Hot Toys with the fine sculpt work on the hair, it just looks beautiful. They did such a great job. You can't lose either way, really. You cannot lose. I do want to see with this one. Okay, so they do have a non-coin version shown here for the sculpted version. Very curious to see if it ends up popping up for the Artisan version. But isn't it dope that, one, he comes with a shit ton of hands. Let me move Sean out of the way real quick. You have a shit ton of hands down here, as you could see. Love to see the variety of hands. You get the pencil, which obviously is a very iconic weapon here for John Wick, as Vigo is kind of doing his whole speech to his son, which, you know, if we had a point system like Collecting Weekly, Yomo would get some points for quoting Vigo there. I know, dude, we're done, man. This morning was crazy. All I could see were dollar signs, and it's like I got hit over the head in like a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and like my eyes were spinning, but they had dollar signs on them. What's up, Philly in the house? What's up, my dude? Another hotline hottie. What's up, Philly? Philly says, what's up, fellas? This Wick is the closest likeness I've seen IMO. Def for pre-order. I agree. This is like one of the best John Wick sculpts I've ever seen personally. And I'm not somebody that's like hugely ingrained into like the high-end custom sculpts. But from what I've seen, this is pretty freaking awesome. And yeah, I do think they included the pencil, if I remember correctly, with that John Wick 2 version that I used to have in my collection. But you got to include it with this John Wick 1 version. It's a must. That John Wick 2 version was an interesting announcement, but yeah, a fucking pencil. This is fire, man. Like I said, couldn't have come at a better time. J&D announcing theirs, and then Hot Toys saying, hold up, wait a minute, we got something for you. And then they drop this. It's just so funny to me. The competition is great. Angry Dog Hobby, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I don't know what this currency is. I usually am pretty good about that.
Ruble?
Is it ringgit? Is this ringgit? I could be wrong. 50 of your currency. I do appreciate that. You're too kind. No amount, small or big, is unnoticed. I appreciate you. Angry Dog Hobby says, I've got a doubt. I can't take both Alien Romulus and Big Chap, so I decided to keep between size and beauty. That means Romulus Xenomorph, but sometimes I wish Big Chap because of the nostalgia. Which one would you choose? You know, Angry Dog Hobby, I've said to myself before, as a figure, from a pure figure standpoint, I think the Romulus design lends itself more to being a cool action figure because it's more posable. It's more creature-like as opposed to like a human in a suit like it was in the original Alien and Aliens films. Obviously, in Romulus, there's a lot of animatronics used, but I think this nostalgia and the iconic aspect will outweigh that for me. So for me, it would always be Big Chap. And I also do have the Alien Ripley in my collection. I have the Present Toys Aliens Ripley that I body swapped and everything. So because of that, for those reasons, I would go Big Chap personally. Big Chap is just like the most iconic xenomorph. At least for me personally, he is. So yeah, I would definitely personally go with Big Chap. Now again, I know a lot of people, they see that shiny new Squirt xenomorph, and I get it. It looks really freaking cool. And again, I do think it lends itself more to an action figure. So if you're just looking for a straight up creepy looking creature with probably a bit more detail to it because of the design from the film is more detailed, then yeah, but nostalgia would outweigh that for me. And I would have to go with the Big Chap.
And to help make it more confusing, I'm the exact opposite. I would get the Scorch Xenomorph in a second as a
Traitor!
The big chap, because as much as the figure stands out more to me that it's a guy in a suit than a monster, and in figure format, I want the monster, like to really get the Xeno monster feel to it.
But Lane, like when you were a kid, that monster was your monster. That is the big chap. That is the monster that started it all.
No.
That has to mean something, Lane. That has to mean something.
No, my favorite alien of all time is the Queen. Like the Alien Queen is my favorite alien of all.
So let's say Hot Toys didn't give us an Alien Queen, and they give us like the other really cool Xenomorph, which is the big chap. Lane, look.
I like the original.
Let's give Lane some time to think about it.
No. I don't have to think about it.
Maybe he'll realize the error of his ways.
Because the Alien Queen's my favorite. I like the alien suits from Aliens better.
The Alien Queen is not an option, Lane. It's the Scorched. So you're picking the Scorched. I'm
picking the Scorched every time because it's
all right. We're leaving it at the Scorched. There's no Alien Queen. Stop getting our hopes up, Lane. I want an Alien Queen.
Well,
unfortunately, it'd be like one.
I want a new. Hey, what I like more is a new Pred alien that doesn't have joints that suck.
Keep dreaming, Lane. I would like that too, though. I would definitely like that too. My boy, 1/6 Lovers in the house. Guys, if you haven't already, I mean, I have to be 1/6 Lovers' biggest fan, and he's a good friend of mine. But if you haven't already, check out 1/6 Lovers on Instagram. Always with the early looks, the early reviews of figures. He's one of the fastest in the business, and he does a great job, and I think he's absolutely awesome. So thanks for being here, my friend. I know we were pretty hyped this morning and pretty confused as well, you know, talking about all the Anakin stuff going on.
There was a lot of confusion today.
A lot of confusion. Speaking of Anakin, I think it's time to move on to Anakin, but we're going to drop the poll. We're going to end the poll, I should say. 37 votes. Artisan, 51%. Sculpted, 49%. So very, very even for the most part. I'm surprised that Artisan still beat it out, but that should kind of tell you, generally speaking, a small sample size, what we can expect for the drop. I think it'll be easier than we think. I really do. I'm going to say that. But guys, it's time to move on what I think a lot of you guys are here for. And of course, I'm talking about Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, you know, I brought it up at the beginning of the stream. I had to have my moment of glory, guys, because I said it so many times. I said, look, guys, I don't think that this Sith Apprentice Anakin is the Anakin we've been waiting for. I don't think this is Darkside Anakin 2.0. And, you know, some people agreed, and some people are like, there's no way they're doing another Anakin. Well, fortunately for us, and maybe unfortunately for some, depending on how you look at it, Hot Toys came and announced an absolute banger this morning. And not only did they announce an absolute banger, they also teased a companion piece for this figure, which we're going to take a look at here shortly. I'm going to start by saying this. There's a lot of confusion right now with what's going on with this figure, because I know the question that a lot of people are going to have, and we're going to address it right off the rip. This figure went up for pre-order yesterday after it was announced, shortly after it was announced through Sideshow, for $310. It was up all night. People were dropping their pre-orders all night. I actually did not order mine because I was waiting for John from Off the Racks to put his up. And then Sideshow took it down. And now, if you go over to Sideshow's website, you'll be greeted with this in the RSVP section. So, as you can see, it says that on October 1st, this figure will go up for pre-order again. Again, it was already up. It was taken down. So, then the next question that arises, you're like, okay, well, we have this figure, but then we have this. After it was taken down, Sideshow puts up an RSVP for a Darth Vader Mustafar edition. So keep that in your head. There's no current date for this. It doesn't say October 1st like a lot of the other RSVPs. But we have an RSVP for a Darth Vader Mustafar Artisan edition. So keep that in your head. Now you know kind of what went down. Now as we go back to look at the figure and look at all the details, it becomes a bit confusing. So this, I think, really is like an ultimate Anakin Skywalker announcement for many reasons. Number one, I think for the first time ever, we have included swap out eyeballs with this figure. Now, we've had multiple head sculpts with other figures with different colored eyeballs, but I think this is the first time ever they actually included swap out eyeballs, which is really cool. That tells you they can see what customizers are doing, and not only that, How many of us streamers or collectors in general have said, like, why don't they just include swap out eyeballs? Clearly they were listening and clearly they were paying attention, because this comes with not only 2 swap out hair pieces, 2 total, I should say, but you also get a set of blue eyes and a set of Sith eyes, which I think is super cool. Another thing about this figure that's a bit different, among other things, is the lava base. So you have this lava droid, the painting droid. This obviously came with the original Darkside Anakin 1.0. Because this is, let's be real, this is kind of like a Darkside Anakin 2.0 on steroids, because you get the light side look as well. But this base is not LED lit. There's no LEDs in this base at all. Now, initially, obviously, that's a big, like, oh, are you kidding me? But I gotta be honest with you, and Lane, you might agree or may disagree. I think this is a very convincing paint job to I think it's good enough to where I'm not really, like, super bummed about the missing LEDs. I gotta be honest with you. Now, is that an excuse for Hot Toys not to do it? Absolutely not. Like, it should have had LEDs, but I think it still looks pretty freaking awesome. I think it looks very convincing. That added paint detail in there to make it look like lava, I think it looks pretty damn good. Now, if you wanted to light this yourself, I'm sure you can kind of stick a light behind there and have it project forward through the base and kind of make it look like it's lit up. But I think this one is just more like modular. You could see you could have it off of the lava base and have the arms kind of like dangling down, like when he was first like kind of hovering down on it before he got to the lava. And it looks like the legs are posable, which is cool. And I do love that the legs themselves have that paint on them to look like they're like reflecting that glow off of the lava. I think that's really cool. So there's kind of trade-offs, right? You do have the absence of LEDs, but you have some more like modularity to the base, which I do like. And maybe that's why they couldn't include the LEDs, or it wouldn't have made it easy for them to include the LEDs. I don't know. And also, this is quite thin, so maybe that was their, oh, here's our excuse to not put LEDs in it. I'm kind of trying to come up with excuses for them when I shouldn't be, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. With that said, I think that base is freaking sick. As someone who has the Darkside Anakin 1.0, this is really awesome. And then you see this. Now let me before we jump in out of excitement seeing this Obi-Wan here, let me just say this. We're seeing all these accessories, right? We see this is just called Anakin Skywalker. But then you have Darth Vader Mustafar version, Artisan edition, right? This is Mustafar Darth Vader. He was Darth Vader already at this point. Once Mace Windu is killed, you know, maybe they'll bring him back, who knows. Once Mace Windu is dispatched, he pledges his allegiance officially to Palpatine, to Sidious, and then he becomes Darth Vader. So the fact at all that this is even called Anakin, it should be Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, because he comes with both looks. But I guess for ease of, you know, describing the figure, they just called it Anakin Skywalker. But technically, you do have the Mustafar Darth Vader right here. And this is just called Anakin Skywalker. And to further solidify that, although this is all we need, with the red Sith eyes and the painting droid base, there is weathering on his outfit that he only got on his outfit during the Mustafar fight. You have weathering on the tabards, weathering on the outfit. Is it very subtle? Yes, but if you zoom in, and it's described also in the description. So it becomes so confusing. And I was having this big conversation with some friends of mine about, like, what is this Artisan Vader Mustafar version, Lane? Like, that is what we're all wondering right now. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat, because I want to hear what everybody has to say about this. So if we think about, like, just from a Hot Toys, normal Hot Toys perspective, it would be typical of Hot Toys to just give them all of the dark side stuff, you know, the red eyeballs, the red lightsaber blade. I don't know why they threw that in with this. That was like an Exosa, geez. That was an Ahsoka accessory that made sense because he has that red lightsaber blade, but them throwing it in with this, I don't get that, because this is obviously from Revenge of the Sith. But if we're talking about pure Hot Toys, normal lazy Hot Toys, we would see an Artisan sculpt, the same head sculpt, with all of the dark side accessories. This does not include a robe, so I'm wondering if they did that on purpose so they'd include that with the Darth Vader. You know, if we're talking lazy Hot Toys, that's what I foresee. I foresee them just giving all of the dark side accessories, throwing in that robe, maybe changing up the base a little bit. I like the idea. Shout out to Flavio. He said, what if they do the hill, like a piece of the hill that he gets his limbs removed on? who knows? Another alternate theory that I've heard from a couple people. What if they throw this in? Like, what if you can like detach his limbs and have him crawling up the hill? I don't know. Like, are they going to go that hard on it? I think maybe this is wishful thinking, but as of right now, we're just purely guessing. It could be as blanket as you just get the same figure with some accessories omitted and the artisan hair. I could fully see that. I could see both sides to it. It's so hard. I want to hear you guys' thoughts though in the chat, because I'm like, I've been going back and forth with my friends. We've been kind of like dreaming up these ideas, and I'm like in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if it had a different head sculpt, but I wouldn't be surprised if they either reused this, which is literally, it seems like it's the Ahsoka head sculpt with some tweaks, or if they reuse like the original Artisan Anakin head sculpt. Like, there's just so many unanswered questions, and I'm very, very curious now. Very, very curious. But that was a long-winded kind of like introduction to all these topics here. But I do want to say, looking at this Obi-Wan as well, and then we'll jump to Lane. Looking at this Obi-Wan as well, if you look at it, it's very subtle, but there is weathering throughout the body. You can see weathering on the boots, weathering on the back of the tunic here. I imagine, and shout out to my boy Carner Collectibles, they actually did fix an accuracy issue from the first figure. So the original Obi-Wan, the top or the bottom of the tabard's draped down back here as it does in the front, which is actually not accurate to Revenge of the Sith and the costuming in this film. So it is cool to see that they fixed that. I remember Carner Collectibles actually cut that off. I opted to just tuck it into the back of his clothes, but that is an accuracy detail that they fixed, which is pretty cool. We get a slight glimpse of the head sculpt here. I highly doubt they're going to reuse that original head sculpt. They have so many other newer head sculpts they could reuse, and we might get an artisan version of this one too. I don't know. But I'm hoping when we see the front of him, I think, if I remember correctly, that he has those little burn holes, those tiny little burn holes from the lava spitting up at him and the ashes spitting up at him, I should say. I think he has little tiny burn holes in the front of the tunic. So I'm hoping they go that far with it. But yeah, there is subtle weathering on both of these, which is really cool. It kind of breaks it up. And yes, friggin', they did it again, dude. They did the pleather again. It pisses me off every single time. It's like so easy for them to do leather tabards, and I don't know why they keep doing it. I don't know why, but they did the pleather tabards again. But sorry, Lane. I know I could literally sit here and just bore you guys to death talking about these figures, and I'm still going to talk about them. But Lane, I want to hear your thoughts on this. How surprising is this to you? How exciting is this? And do you have any theories? Do you have any
I literally am holding about 65 or 70% of the figure right here already. So, at least how I would think it would look. But I like the head sculpt, the way that one's looking. I think it's great that they brought back the actual droid base and everything. And also, gave it like kind of the lava flow attachment and stuff you can put it to. I think that just makes it, just speaking for the sculpted version, makes it better. They include the switch. I think the switch out eyes are a fantastic thing, especially for the sculpted. Because as we've discussed and everything, the artisan trying to switch out having to just adjust the eyes is a pain in the ass. I can't imagine switching them out between light and dark side.
Yeah.
I think they did an outstanding job with this figure. However, I was hoping they were not going to do the pleather, for it, from at least what we got to see for this one. But they said, nope, you would be wrong.
Yeah, same old shit.
And I think right? The eyes, I think, are similar to like the ones that this Anakin came with. So it might be the same Sith eyes. They're just reusing. They look a little bit more, maybe the yellow in them. No, it's kind of hard to tell because we're talking about little Sith scale eyes. So it's like, ugh.
No, the Revenge of the Sith eyes are yellow, and I had to double check because I was pretty sure they got them right on the Artisan Sith Apprentice. Yeah, on the Sith Apprentice, they're more orange, whereas they're supposed to be Sith eyes from Revenge of the Sith are supposed to be yellow in the center.
Yeah, because they're more like Emperor Palpatines and everything.
Yeah, so no, these are correct to Revenge of the Sith.
More, yeah. I just think the hair here, especially the sweat. Now we'll see how this looks actually when we're in hand, and if we see like any kind of lines or anything and stuff at the points where you can switch them, or how well they can clap in and kind of disappear. So that might be the only thing.
Oh, Lane, this is a good point. This is a good
yeah.
point too, because he is, and he's like crawling up. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Sorry for ear blasting. I just had to. But yeah, he does have that robotic arm when he's crawling up. Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. So right now, Lane, we have a potential cloak and a robotic arm. That's what we got so far.
Yeah. Now, real quick. So this one, for what we saw, did not come with the Jedi like actual outer robes, though, right? The cloak.
It did not. No, which is crazy. Okay. Lane, they're potentially paywalling a cloak. Hey guys,
Darth Vader Mustafar.
Right, but Lane, if they pre-ordered the Topo set with the extra robe and everything, like you could throw that on this. I will say this, guys, and I know some people are going to ask. They're going to say, "Can Topo reissue their clothing set?" I did ask them as soon as I saw this. I said, "Would you be interested?" Because I was the one that had them do the original set. I was like, "Would you be interested in doing like a weathered tabard and a weathered robe for this particular figure?" And they seem kind of interested. No, fingers crossed. There's no guarantees. I just kind of drop them stuff that I think about, and if they want to do it.
I know I saw like someone who was actually already put up their Sith Apprentice for sale, which I was a little bit like, bro, hold down. We haven't even seen that Darth Vader Artisan.
That was a friend of mine, and of course he got laugh reacted. That always happens, though. You know, once you list something up right when a new one's announced, people are going to be mean to you. But he was going to do the smart thing. I thought he's got the Sith Apprentice, so he was selling it, but he's keeping the robes. Okay.
From that one, so he took that. So that's a small thing. That's
I would just keep. I don't know, because of the custom robe options, I would just get the custom one, or like buy like a Qui-Gon robe.
Well, they are better robes in some ways. Honestly, a lot of the custom ones. I mean, the Anakin one. Well, the Anakin one is shit. Honestly,
I don't know. I think Hot Toys has struggled with Jedi robes for years. I mean, now granted, like Kit Fisto, as much of a pain in the ass as his was, it works. I know we both had issues with that, and I know Chris did too. But Lane, I want to reel us back in because I do want to talk about this in particular. That's why I saw this photo up. I love these swap out hair pieces. And it almost, like, if you're a big Anakin fan, it almost, like, forces you to want to, because you can have a light side or a dark side Anakin 2.0, essentially. All you're missing is, like, the non-weathered clothing, and you have, like, a clean Anakin, you know?
And this one in particular does feel like the 2.0 dark side Anakin more in some ways, I think, even if they have a Artisan Darth Vader, whatever, Mustafar, they call it.
Yeah.
Because the other one was sculpted, too.
You know what this hair reminds me of, Lane? The Blitzway, Blitzway is doing a statue of Revenge of the Sith Anakin. Their sculpted hair, the actual dark side hair that they have on here with the swoop over his face, it kind of reminds me of that same hair shape they did in a way. And dude, their sculpted hair is just mind-blowing nowadays. It's so freaking good. Even on that new T-800, it's so fine. It looks so great.
Or even the bank robber Joker we were talking, just a couple months ago. That one with the sculpted hair is even an improvement over, the original Joker, which I have that one. The sculpted hair was really. I think. This is where Hot Toys might not necessarily to that point, but could be shooting themselves in the foot a little bit if they keep doing the dual releases of Artisan and sculpted hair, where the sculpted's becoming so good. People might start be looking at their wallet a little bit, being, well, this one's $150 less, and like Wick. That's a little bit almost even better comparison. If you're keeping the hair on the Wick exactly like how it is, right out of the box for the hair.
Yeah,
I mean, you're getting super close there, like where you could save 100, 120, $150 for another figure or something else down the road, or you're like you were saying, a custom set of robes or other stuff that might be a little bit better made or something.
So,
that kind of stuff you have to think about.
I agree. So, Lane, we both have the Sith Apprentice Anakin in hand right now in front of us. So we can look at this head sculpt and kind of answer this question the best we can. Honestly, when I look at this, I'm looking at the Sith Apprentice here, and I'm looking at this sculpt. And by the way, Hot Toys does describe this as a newly developed head sculpt. That doesn't mean it doesn't have reused assets. When I'm looking at this Sith Apprentice in hand lane, I'm seeing that this is a tweaked version of the Sith Apprentice head sculpt. You see some similarities, but you could see where they kind of de-aged it a little bit. In the furrowed brow area, you could see some changes, but the mouth looks basically identical.
Yeah, like right here where you see kind of over the like the cheek area here, and you see kind of the harsh line.
Yeah,
through his mouth right here.
Let me see a different angle too. Let's see. Yeah, like this right here. Like I'm looking at it. If I tilt my head down, I'm like, that is very similar.
Kind of like trying to show here, right here, that line and stuff. You can see the definition there. Like you can see that's very similar. I mean, because this is probably the most recent Anakin head sculpt, and Hot Toys is great for reusing stuff. Now, real quick, is it confirmed that the tabard in part of his suit that it's pleather just like the older ones, including the Artisan Anakin?
I could tell you just by looking at it.
I mean, it looked the same.
It's the exact same material. But again, what I do love, apart from it being pleather, which I don't love, I actually freaking hate that.
Pleather,
I love that subtle. You can see it up here and then towards the
sooty
bottom.
Look and stuff.
Right, that subtle weathering. It's harder to spot on the tunic, but it is there. I think in person it'll probably come off a little bit better. Here you could see it even more present. But that sculpt and hair combo, it's just gorgeous, man. And I'm very curious to see.
It's an improvement, I think. It's an improvement.
I'm very curious to see. Obviously, the paint apps are much different than the Sith Apprentice version as well. I'm curious to see. I'm guessing it's just like a front hair piece like John Wick had, or what else had that recently? John Wick.
Hasn't Scarlet Witch? She had that like with her.
She did have. Yeah, you're talking about the. What was that?
From the Doctor Strange.
Yes, she had that as well. Yeah, a lot. There's a couple figures that had this recently. There's one that's literally in my head, and I said it earlier, and it just absolutely. Oh crap! Chris never got the link. Hold on, Chris. Hot Toys Hotline to the rescue. Sorry, guys. I gotta send Chris this link because apparently I just in my head already thought he wasn't gonna make it. So I never sent him the link. Was it a little loud? My bad.
No. It just my headache.
Okay. I know Anakin Hot Toys is giving you headaches because there's just so much to pre-order. And that's another thing. They have those little baby hairs on the hairline like they had with the Episode 2 Anakin. You can see it here. It's very subtle, but really nice attention to detail because everybody, especially when you have longer hair like this, there's always loose hairs hanging down.
What I really like, you can see kind of like how they made sure to carve in those details for the strands that kind of go up and around and everything there, that kind of front top strands.
Yeah.
But yet they just do a...
Interesting.
I think I'm just gonna say right now, I have the Sith Apprentice. This is a figure I spent almost $1,000 on. So you can make fun of me, guys, if you want to. That's fine. I still really like the figure, but I think this head sculpt is better. Now, in certain ways. Now, see, the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily if this was a comparison to the Artisan Anakin, the original, which he ordered like a year and something or 2 years ago almost. I would expect that, but I'm actually kind of not impressed, but I'm glad to see. I mean, because the Sith Apprentice turnaround versus this is only 5. Now, they may have a good period of time in between development and, when they were working on it, development. And here is the man, the myth, the UPS man who will bring your Hot Toys to your house.
Real quick,
Mr. Chris.
The question or the statement we have from Moose says that he called Sideshow's customer service. They told him this afternoon that the dates of the Anakin had to be reset. Yeah, so, I mean, they were super early. You had today versus the actual day, which was October 1st, which is crazy. I don't understand how that happened. I don't know if Hot Toys last minute was like, hey, the Anakin, the Sith, there's so many Anakins, I'm just naming all of them but this one. The Mustafar Artisan Vader's ready. Let's take that pre-order down. I don't know. But yeah, that Illusion Entity, that's what I was thinking too. It looks like it has some minor tweaks. Like for some reason, it could be the paint apps, but that brow area in the middle looks a little bit different. but it does look less old to me, and I don't know if that's just purely the paint. But other than that, like looking at the Sith Apprentice in hand, it looks like basically the same sculpt, which is funny because they say newly developed, but I think with the hair and everything, they could say that it's newly developed. Like that's what they consider newly developed, is as long as they've made something new with it, they consider that newly developed. So Figure It Out says, this is why I ordered 2 of this Anakin. I need both looks. I have the Topo tabard ordered, so one clean, one perfect, absolutely perfect. That works out for you. That's awesome. I'm really shocked to see that they did both looks in a good way. Like I'm happy that they did that. Peyton says, I think they could do an Artisan Kenobi too. Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely on the table. Dude, those eyes look so freaking good. They look so much better than the Kenobi eyes. I just think the yellow in the center from Revenge of the Sith just looks a lot better. It just looks a lot better. I wish we could get a glimpse of that Obi-Wan, dude. I want to see more of that Obi-Wan. Chris, I want to jump to you because I know you're just getting in. Obviously, we're talking about this new Anakin. You and I were kind of like absolutely nerding out and losing it this morning when this was announced. And you were amongst a few people that believed this with me, that this was going to happen. And we kind of theorized what we might see. And it's weird kind of seeing everything that we had talked about come to fruition. And some of it was like wishful thinking, like, oh, they're going to do a battle damaged Obi-Wan with like damage and holes in his tunic and grime on his boots. And, you know, it's so crazy to see it come to fruition here in front of us. So as his son is just tearing up the background, so he's partially distracted. But dude, how crazy is this that you and I kept talking about? We probably talked about this last week. I think we literally just talked about this last week, probably, because we've been talking about it forever. But how crazy is it to see it come to fruition in the manner in which it did?
I mean, the only thing I guess like we didn't get would have been the leather tabards, but like as far as like us wanting another lava droid base, like seeing the teeth of Obi-Wan in that platform, dude. I've like I don't know how many streams I've been on and countlessly been saying like both of them battle damage, not just Obi. I figured it was possible because you've seen staining on his tunic and stuff like that, but to have this look the way it does, and now Anakin's got like that weathering effect on the outer edges of his, it just makes me super excited. And I heard you mention, you know, the little holes if they gave it, because he did end up having that in the film. If you look like little, it would look like a singe from a cigarette.
Right. It's like the embers from. And I don't know if you heard me mention, but the back of the tunic, they actually fixed that accuracy issue where it
I see that. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy they actually fixed that. I'm surprised.
Yeah, and I heard you mention, you know, Kevin cut his. I folded mine. You folded yours.
And Kevin cut. Kevin. Yes, thank you. That is exactly what I was thinking of. You guys are the best. The Batfleck 2.0 has that as well. The swap out front hairpiece. Thank you guys. I knew you guys would know what I was talking about.
But yeah, man, everything just it's weird to say a dream come true, but at the same time it kind of is, because like you wanted these figures. And bro, you were spot on. I watched your video and I saw the long shot of him on the droid base, and you can see the hair the way it's swooping.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, that reminds me like Blitzwhite. And then you said it right after. But I definitely agree that hair sculpt for sure resembles that.
It's so sick. It's so sick. And like, I mean, obviously this was taken down, and we kind of have an idea of why.
My pre-order is still secure, so I got.
Oh yeah, so that's something I didn't mention. A lot of people were asking that why their order hasn't been canceled. I don't personally think they're going to cancel the orders. I think they'll keep them how they are, because they probably got a shit ton of those in like less than 24 hours. They're probably like, oh shit, do we really want to refund over 2,000 orders? Dude, I'm sure they got so many orders. Like, this is going to be a hot seller for them. So
bro, I told you I've been waiting. Like, it's not, I know you say Dark Side 2.0, but I think it's kind of a culmination of Anakin through his downfall.
It's like, light side and Anakin. It's light side and dark side Anakin 2.0.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
For sure. And honestly, I'm kind of happy I get this likeness, because I only have the Artisan light side. My brother has the Sith Apprentice. So the fact that I'll have, you know, a different facial expression for him, and to have Sith eyes and the droid base, like I'm excited. I hold out for this dude. And then the whole Mustafar Darth Vader thing.
Yeah, what are your
and that
takes
one
on
has
that?
the actual Darth.
Because this is Darth Vader. I mean, with the red eyes, with the lava droid, he is Darth Vader.
That's what I'm saying, but they're titling this Anakin, so it's like, what is making that so specific? Unless it's going to be a DX artisan, like another DX, and you get, I don't know if it's two body. Like I saw you mention him,
like the torso,
armless
like
and legless. Like you can have that, and it comes with a figure. To be honest, I have no clue what that could even mean. I thought maybe it's like a representation of him in his castle. I don't know, but artisan means he would have to have hair, so it can't be him in a suit.
Right, and it wouldn't be like him after he gets caught on fire and like his scalp has no hair, and like it wouldn't be that. I mean, I guess they could throw that in, but like, why would you make that exclusive to an?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Version?
Is like a second body could be that part, but yeah, unless that version, like the artisan version that's coming, has just the Sith eyes and not the swappable eyes like this. And maybe it's a more battle damaged look. Maybe it's because like Kevin and I were talking about the hair as well. The reason he wasn't like sold on artisan and sticking with these sculpts is like them trying to make it look more sweaty, messy. I think they could absolutely do it. There's a lot of sculpts out there that you put enough product in and it can look a little bit more drooped down.
Well, look at the Wonder Woman sculpt from InArt. Like they had so much product in it, it looks sweaty, you know. So they definitely could load the hair up with product, because obviously towards the end of that fight, his hair is literally sticking to his forehead. You could see it in towards the end, like his hair starts sticking to his head because he's like got that sweaty look to him. So
so for now, like this one is secured, but I'm so excited to see what they have for that one. I told Kevin, like, because I still love my Revenge of the Sith Obi, I would hope they do an artisan and that base. Like, if they literally include everything that came with the original Revenge of the Sith and just upgraded the base, that's literally a steal. Like, that's sold right there. Just
$310 for this dude is friggin' insane. Considering that Wolverine, that brown suit Wolverine was $340. You can't make that make sense. You can't.
Two bases, French hair,
two sets of eyeballs.
The LED lightsabers. I mean, regardless of what they look like, it's still that tag.
I don't know if you heard what I was saying. It's also so weird they included the red blade with this, because this is Revenge of the Sith. This isn't Ahsoka. I guess because they included it before. They're like, oh shit, why not?
They just gotta that, and I'm thinking because of the only thing I keep going back to is the video game, like the alternate ending. That's about all I could think of. But
Illusion, I would say this is up for debate. Yes, the previous base had LEDs, but I much prefer the fact that this new base is modular. The fact that you can remove the lava and have it, because obviously in Revenge of the Sith, he's floating down on the panning droid before it actually starts scooping up the lava. So yes, you downgrade in one way and you upgrade in another. So that's kind of up for debate personally.
Technically, it's cool because like when he jumps off the platform that falls down, he lands on it, and when it comes up out of the lava, it drops the block of lava that it has.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that this does this, it's like so much attention to detail. And like you said in your video, you could throw a backlight there. I feel that's going to be so easy to do because they even say in the description that it's translucent plastic,
and it looks great. Like and yeah, Illusion again. You're definitely right. That is, the lights are a downgrade in one way, but then you get like the modularity of the base. So it's kind of like a trade-off. But Blue Tattoo, I could not agree with you more. That's the one thing that pisses me off about these Anakins. How many Anakins are they going to do until they realize that we're sick of the pleather?
The boots are pleather too. In the description when I was reading, it was saying leather like. So.
Manny, sure. I guess my point is like the actual quantity of what you get. Like you get the two, it showed two bases. I didn't actually read the description before they took it down, but it showed a regular like sand base, and then it showed the Mustafar panning droid. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, Manny. You do have a point there. I think you have a point, and I have a point.
Apprentice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Philly says, "Can you imagine a Darth Vader battle damage with an Anakin rooted headshot?" Dude, that's the thing. It's just like so up in the air. Well, the arms are reused technically.
Yeah, that's the only thing that
the
gets
arms are reused.
Hey, you don't get the robot arm with this one though, right? That's new.
No, which is what that was pointed out in the chat. Like, they could include like the robe and the robot arm, and like that makes it. I don't know, dude. It's just so puzzling.
Yeah, but this
Manny said, "Glad I have the first issue of this base." I do too. Like, I'm keeping my Dark Side Anakin 1.0 because I'm going to be doing upgrades to it with like leather tabards and all that stuff. I'm keeping my 1.0. That's the last figure that'll ever go. No, Manny, I get it. Manny, I could tell you're probably a Wolverine fan, so me saying like make it make sense. It's an Anakin fan versus a Wolverine fan. We'll go on until the end of time, but yeah, I'm glad that they made the brown suit though, because I know there was a zillion people asking for that. So whether it's 350, 340, or 500, you know, I'm sure people who really wanted that are super stoked for it. So I'm glad you guys were able to get it. Well, then, Manny, come back to my side, dude. Let's start debating that the Anakin's a better price. I'm just joking. Bolt says they're already making Frankenstein Anakin and Battle Damage Darth Vader. Legless version is next. I mean, that's what everybody is theorizing. Maybe they'll throw that in there. I'm very jealous. I do have a couple Hayden autographs, but only ever from like send-in autograph signings. I haven't met him yet. I would love to, obviously, but yeah, it's definitely on my list. I need to meet Hayden for sure, and Ewan as well. And I know, Illusion, it is weird how they're just kind of like so inconsistent with the materials. And this is like my biggest complaint with Hot Toys lately, is not doing the leather tabards. And it's not like a complicated material. Some stuff, they may have the argument of, okay, you know, I mentioned this in my video, like a red pleather. When you get red leather, a lot of times from what I've seen for action figures particularly, it's thicker. So they can argue, okay, it doesn't look as good. But this is not hard to replicate. Like, anyone who has decent skills with leather working can make this, and we've seen that. Look how many custom tabards there are. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. Fig Poser, that's funny. That's funny that you mentioned that. Oh, so you've met Jake Lloyd as well. I would love to see a 1/6 scale Phantom Menace Jake Lloyd Anakin. I would love to see that. And a lot of people like to say it's not possible, but they've done it in 3.75 and 6-inch recently. So it is still in the realm of possibility for Hot Toys, and I would definitely buy it.
When I see this Anakin, like, I don't even think of Rogue because of the expression and the way they've been portraying it with the two different looks. I think of it as like hero and then villain, and he's constantly battling, whether he's battling Count Dooku as hero and then becoming villain, like fighting Obi-Wan almost. Is kind of what this is.
And it's just weird though that they included a red lightsaber blade but not the robe. It's just so bizarre. It makes me think it's going to come with that Vader. I feel like that's what they're pulling here, but it's just so up in the air. Like I said, I'm like in the middle. It's either going to be very lazy and just use all the dark side stuff and throw in the robe and the robot arm and call it a day, or it's going to be something with a new sculpt or something.
What if it's the concept one with the big shoulder pad and he's got the mohawk thing?
Yeah, that's ew. I hate that look. When Anakin was, remember when they were doing the test fitting for Hayden and that original hair they had on his, the look of like utter defeat when they put that on his head, and he was just like, I cannot act in this. I can't. It's just, I love that behind the scenes clip. And he just kind of like, you could see the warmth leave his eyes when he sees himself in the mirror with that look, with that super long hair. But yeah, the concept art with the mohawk is crazy. I think they did a great job at choosing something more grounded with this look. But dude, I love that behind the scenes photo. I really do. But yeah, guys, just a refresher. This is up for RSVP. It will be going back up on October 1st. As we've learned here, the sculpted Anakin pre-orders will not be canceled as of right now. I highly doubt they're going to cancel them because they probably made a shit ton of money and they're going to want to keep that. So
If so, I hope they would send out something that said it was. So
you'll get a $20 off
it.
code. You'll get a $20 off code for figures that no one wants. Manny says technically they could release another sculpted Anakin as a light side and make more. It needs to have robe and yeah, that would be crazy, dude. I wouldn't put it past them. As we've seen, but that would be wild.
Bro, I think we can't put anything for any character. And just as we were talking about, how many Wolverines do we have now? For pre-order?
I won't be shocked if they reuse the Artisan sculpt or do another one. And they do give you all the real leather stuff, especially if they start figuring out better LED lightsaber stuff. Like, there's always going to be something.
There could be some comic infinities like storyline down the road someday for Marvel Comics that's like, what if Anakin didn't, like what if Anakin killed Obi-Wan, and so we get to see, Sith Emperor Anakin Skywalker, or
that was in the
Jedi Master
video game. He killed the Emperor too with his red lightsaber. I mean, that's who gave it to him.
Yeah, I want to see them take a stab at Matt Lanter's Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars, because the one from Sideshow is so bad. It's actually kind of depressing, because I actually am a huge fan of Matt Lanter's portrayal of Anakin. I have his autograph as well on a really cool picture of, like, I don't know if you guys remember, and this is just a side note, and I'm going to say what's up to Steve. When he has that vision of himself as Darth Vader, and he says, "I've seen what I've become, and I can't let that happen." That's literally the quote I have on my autograph of him, and it's so freaking sick. And I have that photo. But what's up, my boy Steve from Figures and Fandom? Again, I mentioned Steve earlier, and I mentioned Steve and Chris in my video as well, because we've been dreaming up this set forever. We've been dreaming up this set forever, and it's just so weird. And I was talking to Steve about it earlier, just seeing literally everything that we kind of dreamed up in our heads, what it could be, is here. The battle damage Obi-Wan, the damage on Anakin, the freaking... literally, we talked about Obi-Wan coming with the platform and Anakin coming with the panning droid. It's just so weird. It's so weird to see. By the way, guys, 71 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, consider dropping a like on this stream. I'd very much appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't already. We're slowly on our way to 7K. I appreciate you guys. But Steve says, guys, I know Connor is buzzing from this one. Still, however, hashtag the GOAT is coming. And of course, Steve's GOAT is Obi-Wan. So we got to go back to that photo here just for Steve.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
The ultimate, like, after this, if they ever wanted to do 3.0, is a 2-pack, and you get the diorama of them fighting on the big arm, like a piece of it.
Yeah,
that's next.
That would be sick. But this is like, and I said this in my video, this is like truly centerpiece. This is centerpiece stuff right here. You have both of these on their bases, facing it off, recreating that battle of the heroes. It doesn't get better than that for me. It doesn't get better than that for me. The base one? Yeah, we'll pull that up.
This is the end for you, my master.
Yeah, and look at the the ash on the corner. I think that's what that's supposed to be. Dude, it's beautiful, and it's like, this is exactly what we all, if we could imagine in our head what we could recreate from this scene. This is what a lot of people would want, this right here, or alternatively,
you know how many
big
times
ass
it
piece
showed
where they were
that
hanging
in the trailer too, growing up, like them fighting.
Yeah. You're gonna piss off Jose with this one, Rick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the
no, it is not.
I didn't
do a giveaway.
They're doing a giveaway for her. They're actually giving away a lot this week. A lot of stuff that I'll never win. Manny says, I'll buy any Hayden, Hugh Jackman, and Norman Reedus figures Hot Toys drops. I could absolutely say that for Hayden. Norman Reedus, I did pre-order the Death Stranding figure, but once InArt decides to drop that Daryl Dixon, that bad boy's coming home. Illusion. I'm really hoping it does not. I think they've reused that enough. I think it's and I do believe this is going to be a new head sculpt. Seeing it from the back, it doesn't look quite as round, and this is really reaching. It doesn't look quite as round as that sculpt they keep reusing. I hope this is a newly developed sculpt. I mean, we already know it's not going to be the original sculpt, one, because it's clearly two pieces from behind here. We could see that. But two, that sculpt's pretty outdated. But I have faith that this is going to be a new head sculpt. And the reason I say that, they went as far as to fix the issue, the accuracy issue from the back, which I did not expect them ever to do. So that's a good sign that maybe they'll give us an updated sculpt. So I have faith in that for sure. Dude, what's up, by the way, 8-Bit Flea? Good to see you as always, bro.
They passed them.
I honestly have some faith that they will do a rooted Obi-Wan, because they've done what? They've done Moon Knight that has shorter hair. The Iron Spider with rooted hair.
They already did
John Wick.
Attack of the Clones, so.
Yeah, John Wick. So I could absolutely see, and then, you know, episode 2 Obi-Wan, who does have shorter hair, not as short as this, but
I got a quick question too, like, because I saw that John Wick was like coming with that coin or whatever. Would they do anything? Because these are 25th anniversary Hot Toy announcements, I guess. Would they get like special 25th anniversary Hot Toy packaging or something? And maybe the Artisan one?
Maybe. I was a little sad to see that they didn't continue with those really cool metal plaques they did recently.
Yeah,
that we saw with those other, with like Robo
yeah,
King
the cards.
Yeah, those are really sick. I was hoping they would continue with that. But John Wick, it makes sense, because a big plot point of the John Wick films is, you know, they use their own currency, and so it makes sense for them to do the coin for him. I'll give them that. That made a lot of sense. What's up, Molly? Thank you for being here. Molly says, "Sup, guys? Hope you are keeping well." We are. I hope you are.
Baby
well.
Luke has to have little rooted hair too.
And another thing I want to point out, thank you for bringing that up. I am now happy that I own the original one still, because now I have a clean version, and then I have the Battle of the Heroes version.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like,
and then you have the table still.
I was gonna say, if it doesn't come with the hollow table,
I doubt it will. I think they'll probably keep it.
I gotta have that, bro.
It could though. It could, because he does, you know, see the hollow recordings right before he heads to Mustafar, so it could. Killing younglings. I don't know, dude. That's a toss-up. It really could. It really could. But yeah, I know we've kind of drawn out this Anakin topic forever, but I just want to say, beyond excited for this. Me personally, I don't know about you guys. You guys can kind of throw that in, and people as well in the chat. I agree with Steve, though. I do think we're going to get an Artisan and a sculpted Obi-Wan as well. I just think we will. And that's not just to tell you guys, hey, we're going to get everything you can ever ask for. I just think we will. It just feels like we will. I'm going to be getting a sculpted one of these, and I'll be getting the Dark Side Vader Artisan as well, the Darth Vader that they're doing. So obviously we're not sure what that's going to be, but I will be picking that up personally. Chris, I'm curious, are you going to be going for both as well, or are you just going to call it at this sculpted version?
What, like if they did a Artisan Obi and?
Or no, would you get like the Artisan Anakin, or excuse me, Artisan Darth Vader Mustafar and this? Or just one?
I mean, it depends on what that is, but as of now, I'm strictly like,
I'm hitting you with the Shrek gif right now.
Ew. If it's the same thing, essentially just rooted hair, I'm definitely going for the Artisan version, and I'll toss the sculpted.
But if,
I'd rather have
let's say you have some pretty key accessories with both that are different, would you be tempted to get both of them?
It would have to be pretty convincing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like if because this one specifically Mustafar, like, well, the other one says that too. So I don't know if they both had weathering. I mean, I'd rather have one that has the hair, but mainly like I just want it because of the Sith look. I have the light side for my regular, you know, Anakin. I want a Vader before the suit. Is my ultimate goal.
It's nothing more, so you can have that to put with the Vader Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, blue tattoo. Blue tattoo. He doesn't have it, but obviously that makes sense because he's rooted. Like they wouldn't like draw in. You know, I mean, they still do it for sideburns. But you get what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't paint on the baby hairs, I guess, because he has rooted hair.
Yeah, they did that for the Attack of the Clones.
But yeah, I agree. Them saying newly developed head sculpt, I think that's strictly because it has, you know, different paint apps and everything. And like I said, maybe it's the paint apps kind of making it look a bit different in the brow area, but it's definitely basically the same sculpt. Which I don't have a problem with. I think it's pretty awesome. Oh yeah, I was talking to Flavio. By the way, shout out to Flavio, Hotline Hottie, an all-around gentleman. Flavio, I was talking to earlier. And he's like, dude, I'm confident I'm going to get this Anakin. I'm like, don't be, because I missed on Sideshow the first Artisan Anakin. Don't be confident. Anything could happen. And you know what analogy I used? I was like, what decorated prize fighter just lost his first fight in quite a long time and lost all of his belts? It could happen, dude. All it takes is that one to take you out. Yeah, best of luck to everybody. Make sure you RSVP. Again, we don't have a date yet for the Mustafar Vader, even though we're kind of looking at the Mustafar Vader. Don't understand that. But yeah, RSVP. Now, Lane, for you, because you have that Sith Apprentice Vader, are you getting either one of these? What's your plan?
Well, here's my thing. At the end of the day, I want what, even though I have the Sith Apprentice and it is Darkseid Anakin, my preferred look, the Darth Vader Mustafar, I gotta see it. I don't want to say if it's I mean, we're saying it's just going to be this thing with rooted hair, but I need to see. I need to see it. I mean, if it's just, I mean, we all expect it's just going to be this was rooted hair. Maybe there would be some slight differences with the accessories, but to justify it being called Darth Vader Mustafar and not Anakin, whatever, Artisan edition versus where this is Anakin Skywalker, you know. I am probably going to try and get it, but I will probably sell my Sith Apprentice to help fund it because I only need one. I only need one Artisan Anakin. I don't need multiple ones. I will admit, with the eye switch out, if it has that same functionality, it does kind of make me consider a little bit doing the sculpted hair because it'd be so much easier if you to be able to use that accessory.
And maybe we won't get the swap out eyes. Like I said, it's just so up in the air right now. Obviously, we're just theorizing.
I would just say if it's coming to, like, let's leave this one out of the equation for right now because it's a rooted Anakin versus a rooted Anakin. I would try for the Darth Vader Mustafar because that is the episode. If it says this is the episode 3. You know, Darth Vader episode 3, like version. I want the named whatever episode 3 version of whatever is referred to as episode 3 because that's the movie. We've had to debate for a long time.
I mean, it's like Lane, it's like the Snow Trooper. They had the Battlefront version, and then they had one that literally said Empire Strikes Back. And everybody just wanted it because it said Empire Strikes Back on the box specifically. Yeah. Yeah, Illusion. It is unfortunate. I personally know people that spent $1,000+ on the Sith Apprentice. I want to say this. The Sith Apprentice is going to drop in value, but it's still going to hold some fairly significant value because it's a limited piece. And that is a different interpretation of the character from the Ahsoka show. So, no, I don't think it's going to hold the value that it's been holding.
It's not going to be $1,500.
No, I still think it's probably going to hover around $750+ until the end of time. Like, it's a limited figure, and people buy stuff because it's limited, not because necessarily it's their favorite representation of the character. And
especially if it looks very similar, it has a lot of the same beats as some of the other figures, so it's not like a Clone Wars Anakin versus a movie Anakin. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It seems a lot of people are giving up on the Artisan line. I don't know. I mean,
not me.
L. Walker was saying he thought it looked like a bad wig. I mean, dude, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, but then he said not Jack Sparrow.
I think it depends on the figure, and it depends on your experience and like your personal copy that you got. Like, I think like a recent example of one that I was at, and this is coming from somebody that owns a shit ton of InArt figures. I own all the Harry Potter figures that have been announced thus far and released. Michael Jackson, Paul Atreides, Pennywise, the Batman. I own a lot of their figures, so I know how to how they compare in person. I haven't had that many. I haven't had any bad experiences with the Artisan, actually. I don't know why I said that. I haven't had any bad experiences. Like, I haven't had any that like showed up with missing hair. I haven't had any that showed up with glue issues. But I have seen a lot of issues. But it's all personal experience. And do I think the Sith Apprentice Anakin personally looks like it has a bad wig? No. But it's all personal preference. I do think Jack Sparrow is a stronger example from the Artisan line, but a recent example, I kind of started saying it and swayed away from it. Dark Empire Luke, that hair in person looks excellent. Mine had 0 issues, like very small amounts of stray hairs that were easily fixable, and it looks exactly like the prototype, and it looks like his hair does on the comic cover.
Mine did too.
Right, so it's personal. It's all personal experience, but... Oh, and L. Walker, I'm not at all denying that. I'm just kind of saying I'm just trying to give you, it is a perspective from someone that also collects a lot of InArt. I'm not saying, sorry if it came off that way. I'm not saying that like you don't know. And absolutely, you're entitled to your opinion. And I'm just kind of, I like that you brought that up because I kind of wanted to share my experience alongside yours. That's all, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to say like you're not allowed to have your opinion because we're very open to opinions here. Trust me. I mean, if it looks like Cole Sprouse, that's due to the designers of the comic because it looks like he does on the comic cover. Like that's what he looks like. I think they did a great job representing him in 1/6 scale form, and it's a great adaptation from the page. That's just my personal opinion, but yeah, L Walker, please don't think that I'm not happy about your opinion. I'm just kind of going along with that because I think it's a good topic of discussion as we're talking about Artisan. That's all. Molly says, I know the topic of 2.0's diminishing value or exclusivity has been talked about a lot, but limited rare items is a fundamental part of most collectible brands. What are your thoughts? You know, me personally, I don't have any issue with limited availability collectible items because it's part of every single hobby. Random example, Pokemon cards. There's plenty of cards that are very sought after, and then they get graded, and the higher the grade, the more they're worth. The lower the population, the more they're worth. So any hobby that you go to that has some collectible aspect to it, there's going to be stuff that's worth more. There's going to be stuff that has a lower run. So
sold out retired Lego sets or minifigs.
Right, Legos.
Like a little minifig will be like
hundreds of dollars. Right. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it could be like a random set where they made a pretty important character and only in that Lego set. So it's worth a shit ton of money. So no, it doesn't at all bother me. Like, are they kind of going a little too crazy with the limited stuff to where certain things are sitting and they're limited to 2,000? Yeah, I mean, like the XE suit, the Hellbat version of the XE suit, that literally is still up. I think Nightwing is still up as well. So yes, even though it's limited, that doesn't necessarily always mean desirable. But I think the limited availability does have some like collectability to it. You know, it's cool to say like, oh, I have this particular figure they only made 1,000 of, and like,
yeah, when you're talking,
you're not going to see it in everybody's collection. You know, that means something to me sometimes. Maybe not for every figure, but for some figures, it means something that it's limited, and you know, maybe it's something you have to chase after. Yeah, it's a shame because that one, obviously, if it came out when it was originally teased, it would have been an absolute banger. But it not having rolling eyeballs and just basically looking like it hasn't improved in technology since the original prototype, it is a bit unfortunate, and that's probably why it's sitting. I think it's a little overpriced as well, but dude, I always wanted a Koye. That would have been a cool one, and Namor as well. They never did Namor, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, Molly, just to answer your question, I don't have a problem with limited stuff at all. Because I think it adds a little bit of fun to the hobby. Not everything has to be open edition. Not everything has to be easy to get. But obviously there's trade-offs.
Whether everybody admits to or not, I think everybody likes to have a piece of something that somebody else wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just adds, you know, something special to your collection. Or some stuff, it's not actually, you know, touted as limited, but I can't even talk. But people don't really heavily pre-order it, and then it becomes very expensive, like the Blitzway Kurt Cobain. Like, that wasn't touted as like, oh, there's a select number of them, but it didn't sell, I guess, as high as they expected, and now there's a big demand for it, and they're very, very hard to get. So
a recent thing, the Brown Suit Wolverine, you know, some people were mixed on it. It sold out of Sideshow in an hour.
Yeah, that one doesn't surprise me. I expected that one to sell out, but I think there was, 3,000 of them? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which was for exclusive in comparison was a pretty high number, like that.
Yeah,
that Miles, you know, the coming, which isn't out yet, but that Alien VP is only 1,500. Yeah. But are we expecting maybe that one to sit because like the last Miles variant, that Prowler one sat for like a while.
Yeah. Yep. Guys, we're gonna move on though from Anakin and Obi-Wan. Very exciting. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. It's awesome to see, number one, that Hot Toys, and when you see stuff like this, even if you're not a big Predator guy, or if you mainly focus on the Predator movie films for figures, seeing something like this is very exciting for many different lines, because this is like a deep dive. This is from like the original Alien versus Predator comics, and just a bit of backstory for you guys. this Predator is a big deal in the comics. This is like what the Scar Predator was based off of in the original AVP film. So I believe this Predator's name is like his Deshande, I think is his actual name.
Something along the, yeah.
I think it's Deshande. So basically, in short, this Predator was like the first Predator to face a xenomorph with no gear whatsoever and survive to tell the tale. And like, he was the one that actually blooded the human female that became the Mashiko Predator. She became a blooded Predator. He's the one that actually blooded her into the Predator clan.
He's the first like main Predator in the first ever Alien versus Predator comic Dark House put out like in 89, 90, something like that. So where you're not, I mean, you're not necessarily going to know him too. I mean, Prime One did a statue of him a few years ago and stuff with Broken Tusk and before. So I love this, you know.
Lane, and I told you this before the stream started, Lane. The crazy thing about this, that lazy ass Jungle Hunter Predator 2.0 that pisses me off every time I think about it, and I want to raise my blood pressure. This has significantly more newly sculpted parts than the most iconic Predator on screen ever from the 87 very first film. This has a lot of really new, really unique, newly sculpted bits. Like most of the armor, actually all of the armor, apart from the helmet, because the helmet is what appears to be a reused Jungle Hunter helmet, which is basically what it is in the comics. This is all newly sculpted parts. So you have a comic figure with basically all newly sculpted armor, newly sculpted weapons, and then you have that Jungle Hunter 2.0 with all reused bullshit, and it doesn't look anything like the 87 Jungle Hunter. It's just the classic Predator from the 2010 film. It blows my mind. I mean, that's a testament to how awesome this figure is. Because this looks great, guys. I mean, you know, whether you're a Predator guy or not, whether you collect these figures, and I got to watch the way I say that because it sounds not good, but a Predator collector or not, this looks awesome. It's a great looking figure. It's got all newly sculpted parts apart from the body and like the gloves. The hands look to be potentially reused. But it's a good testament to Hot Toys being willing to go all out for certain figures. And it's weird that like the 87 Jungle Hunter didn't get this treatment. And it's because they had a lot of those assets to reuse and they just got really lazy with it. Because though this may have like a reused body and some reused hands and like the biomask and also the head too. I think the head is reused as well, apart from that broken tusk. Because the reason he's called Broken Tusk, I think it's his lower left bottom tusk, which is like the little fang. It's broken off. So they did actually get that detail. That detail is actually included.
Did point out too that the main Predator in the new Predator Badlands has the same kind of damage too. Same tusk.
I never realized that. Dak, I think his name is Dak. I think it's Dak.
Yeah.
Dak.
Well, wouldn't it be surprising if Predator Badlands is actually that is supposed to be this Predator?
No, there's no way. No, I don't think so, Lane.
Is it a prequel?
So. It's a cool theory, but I don't think so. They just look drastically different. Like even like the flesh tone on his face is completely different. I don't think so, but that would be cool, Lane. I do agree. That is an interesting theory, but no. Yeah, L. Walker, this is really interesting. You know, it's a good sign not only for Predator stuff, but for like other comic stuff. I mean, recently we saw that the AVA Miles Morales, and I know that suit's kind of whack, but seeing them dive into comic stuff like this, that gives you hope for Marvel. Maybe finally some more DC comic stuff, because we did recently see like The Killing Joke, which is really cool. We saw the Dark Knight Batman, which is really cool. Maybe Hot Toys, maybe they'll start diving into Batman the Animated Series. Who knows? So if anything, like this is a really good sign for other lines for sure. Yeah, right. Like, you know, it got so tiring when everything you buy, and it still happens with a lot of figures, but before it was like everything you buy is worth like $100 less 6 months after it came out, maybe even less. So yeah, this is again, like it's a kind of a mixed bag, right? Some people don't like the limited stuff, some people do, but for me, I think it's good for the hobby. But yeah, and this has ties to AVP, and then this makes me want that old AVP Machiko. That's like one of the only figures I'm missing. I have most of the Hot Toys 2.0 and beyond Predators that they've done. I'm still missing the Elder Predator from the first AVP film. I really need that one. That's like a big chase of mine. And I kind of want Machiko now because this is the guy that blooded, or this is the Predator that blooded Machiko. So I kind of want that. But if you guys are curious, just to add to the badassery, Broken Tusk, Deshande here, he did defeat an alien queen. Unfortunately, he did expire. He probably did perspire during the fight.
Yeah.
But he did expire after the fight from his injuries, but he's pretty badass, dude. He's pretty badass. So if you kind of know, Flavio, as far as I know, I don't think there's any mention of him being limited. There is, however, and this appears to be another reused part. I haven't compared it yet, but just at first glance, I'm like, this kind of looks like the 2010 Predators, the classic Predator. He has the broken mask. This is actually the exclusive piece. So instead of doing a coin with this one, like Chris brought up, like potential other things with the limited stuff.
This is way cooler. Like,
yeah, so you get an actual mask with this one, kind of like the Samurai Predator.
Yeah.
That came with a different mask.
I like they just included this because Prime One Studios, to be their cheeky selves, they did for Wolf Predator, their big old third scale statue. They did a special where if you buy him, which is like $3,000, and buy the Dog Alien or the Xeno Runner, their big old third scale statue directly from them, you can get. It's the only way to get the broken mask of like scarred mask of Wolf Predator. And I was like, you guys suck.
Yeah, that's how they like, get you.
Yeah, just spend an extra $700 combined or $800 on shipping, please, with us.
That's how they get you, dude. That's how they get you.
But this looks cool.
Yeah, this is really cool, isn't it, Lane? Like, it's just no one in their right mind, even if you're like big into the Predator figures. This is one of the most heavily
of the Predator figures. This is one of the most heavily. If you like battle armor more on your stuff,
he's a tank, dude.
This is one of the most heavily armored Predators that you will be able to get. Now, obviously, this is going to affect maybe front. Now, I think all the Predators kind of had issues with that, but from being able to, I mean, it's probably not going to be any worse than if you're trying to pose the Samurai Predator, the new one that'll be coming. But I love what they did with this figure. The armor was freaking awesome. The only problem is this makes me work. Like, can we do some of the other movie Predators, please?
Like a City Hunter 2.0. I mean, Lane, let's keep their tab open. Let them fix the 87 Jungle Hunter first, because that needs it. Seeing this, it just makes me even more mad, because I'm like, they can do it. This isn't perfect, but it's pretty damn good. Yes, the head sculpt appears to be reused, but they at least got the fucking broken tusk. They got it in the right spot. It's the lower left. Like, the armor's all, newly sculpted. Like, it looks awesome, dude.
They're putting, I get what your point is. You're putting time and effort into this. But we talk about this about all the Anakins, and they put actual leather on like freaking crosshairs, like part or something, and we're like, wow, what it does not compute. But right here, man. But when you see this and you're like Jungle Hunter, who is, as you know, a lot of times the first for me is not the coolest one, because they were able to make cooler stuff.
Right, really, but most iconic at the very least. Yeah, it's not the coolest. Like, everyone knows the OG Jungle Hunter Predator.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you put this time of effort into it, where you're putting effort into a Predator that even I barely remember, and I read, because it's from an Alien versus Predator comic that is not even published by the original company that made it. You have to buy it from collections from Marvel, not Dark Horse anymore. So I think it's cool they're doing it. And this opens up the possibility for other crazy Predators, or even
Ahab, dude. Like, Predator, that's all I could think of.
Predator. Yeah,
when I saw this, that is like
thinking of.
That is the one that I want the most from the comics, is Ahab, because Ahab has such a freaking cool story, and the missing eye.
A statue of him too. Actually, now
there's been a shout out to my dude George Hatter from GKH16 Customs. He has actually done, I believe, a custom of the Broken Tusk, and he's done Ahab. He's done all kinds of stuff. He does amazing work.
Yeah, and I'm 100% sure NECA has probably done them.
NECA's done every Predator under the sun. They do all the video game stuff, the comic stuff, and they actually just recently announced the Samurai Predator from Predator Hunting Grounds, the game, which is really cool. So I hope the next comic when they do is Ahab, though. I'm really crossing my fingers, and I agree with you, Lane. I would love to see like a 2.0 City Hunter, even though I just got mine like heavily modded and he looks freaking awesome. I can't wait to get him back.
But just some of those, because it's been so long. We're not usually on like Yay 2.0 as much anymore.
Yeah.
But we're talking like 10 to 15-year time frame now, where it's just like we're seeing they're doing this, or Feral Predator, the things they managed to do with that particular Predator.
Yeah, it's a great release.
And it's just like where Marvel seems like, at least up until maybe Doomsday and like the end of 2026, 2027, it feels like there are spots in the slate where you can do some stuff. Like they are doing this a little bit. I mean, they're putting this guy out. So I'm sure some of the other one of the reasons we can get this guy is some of the other licenses. They've probably not been selling as great, or there hasn't been, material for them to use from recent movies. So they had to kind of work in and try and be willing to go out there into some of their other licenses and be like, hey, or how am I just seeing, hey, this is one of my favorite Predators, let's do it. It could have been as simple as that, or something. But go out and do some of those Predators maybe next year. I mean, they did Robo-Cane, for heaven's sakes. Like that's taking a big bat swing there for something kind of going like, who? Or really? Kind of things.
There's a ton of potential, and I think this is a good sign. And I think a lot of people are going to buy this. We saw multiple people talking about how badass it is, dude. It's just badass. And I think a lot of people want this strictly because it's freaking cool. It's so cool. And he comes with a lot of really cool stuff. And that xenomorph skull on his chest is freaking awesome. We do, Big Dog Pound, we do. And I will say I have been talking to a third-party company about doing her. I don't know if they're going to end up doing it, but we have had multiple conversations about it. So we'll see. We'll see. Real quick, guys, before we end up the stream, I just want to say RSVPs are now up. Let me refresh, make sure nothing new popped up since we started. No.
Broken Tusk.
Broken Tusk is now up. Broken Tusk is going up on the 1st of October as well. Same with the Sculpted Anakin again. And, as we mentioned earlier, the Artisan John Wick. I don't think there's anything on this Miles yet. No, literally nothing. They still don't say. Well, that's okay. So make sure you get your RSVPs
I know
in.
he's October 1st supposed to be in Hong Kong. Be released along with the Brown Suit Wolverine and stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully we see something from Sideshow first, because I do actually kind of want that figure because I think it's pretty cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come up maybe like Friday, like they update that maybe like tomorrow or something, or Thursday, because I think he'll come out for whatever rollout he's going to get probably before the end of the week, or it could be Monday like they did for Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's going to be one that you just randomly drop on the website, because I know there's not going to be like a huge
like the Fractal Subzero Mark IV.
Yeah. Because we had so much to talk about and I wanted to talk about Anakin and stuff more, sorry we didn't talk about like the Fractal Subzero Iron Man or the Brown Suit Wolverine, but I feel like you guys probably got your fill on that stuff.
The Subzero, now Plain Zero Iron Man.
Yeah, that's not the Subzero I want. Get it? Because I want the ninja with the
the actual Mortal Kombat. Bro, could you imagine if Hot Toys could do Mortal Kombat?
If they get the license for the second movie, I would be so freaking hyped, because I actually really enjoyed the first movie, and they're kind of up in their ante with this second film. So, hey, that'd be sick. That'd be sick if they got the license.
Cage's looking a little weird. But...
Cage?
Jade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jade. No, Jade doesn't look like she does in the games. I actually don't mind Carl Urban, who's playing Johnny Cage.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He's got a really good personality for that character. Yeah. So and he's kind of creepy with his face shaved, but because I'm so used to him as Billy Butcher. But I'm excited. I loved the first film. I loved what they did with Scorpion. I'm a Sub-Zero fan, so the fact that they did my boy so dirty and I still enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. So.
Wow, you can think about it. We could literally say, thanks to Carl Urban, that Johnny Cage actually died, was reincarnated as Judge Dredd, and then after Dredd died, he was reincarnated as Dr. McCoy.
And he's also Billy Butcher with all these tentacles coming out of his body.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Big Dog Pound, a channel member for 6 months, a Hotline Hottie. Thank you so much, my friend. And guys, if you missed, as I mentioned earlier, I'll show you guys. The first Hot Toys Hotline shirt is here. I'm going to test one more material just to see if that shirt feels a bit softer. I'm a big soft shirt guy. I like the next level apparel stuff. So I'm going to try that out. But this shirt fits pretty nice. It's large that I'm wearing, and it fits pretty nice. Fits like a glove, not super tight in the midsection. The hat turned out like absolute shit. So we're back to the drawing board on the hat. Sorry about that, guys. I was very excited for that, and it looks terrible. I literally feel like they were like sewing the design with their eyes closed, and they just like put it in the box, put the tape on, and called it a day. So it's been unfortunate about the hat, but we'll figure it out. You know, progress is progress. We got a shirt. We'll work on some other stuff, but yes, sir. Mitchell says the whole T2 line is coming home. Sculpted John Wick I'm getting, and the comic Predator I'm in two minds about. Yeah, dude, a lot of really cool stuff, man. A lot of unique stuff. We have to continue to praise this unique stuff so that Hot Toys will continue to branch out. Fingers crossed that we get a Sarah Connor Artisan or a frickin' T-800 endoskeleton with die-cast components. Like, it's just very possible now. And then again, like more Predator stuff, more Alien, maybe finally a Ripley with the power loader. Like, come on, Hot Toys. You like leaving money on the table? I don't think so. At least not lately. It doesn't seem like you do. But yeah, some really exciting stuff this week, guys. What a great turnout for the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Yeah, and I like that as well. I actually really do. And I'm excited. Who is the original Subzero? Is that Bihan, or is Bihan the brother? I can't remember. I should know that, but what did I miss? I don't know. But guys, thank you so much for being here, each and every one of you. I appreciate everybody that donated, that hung out, channel members, regular members alike. I appreciate you guys. And as always, thank you guys for being so awesome with all these discussions. I know they're kind of split, and I appreciate you guys for being respectful. Appreciate each and every one of you. That's going to wrap it up, though, guys. Take care. If you haven't already, if you want a more in-depth video of me gushing over the new Anakin, I did put up a video on my channel. I am planning on doing a couple reviews. Hopefully tomorrow I should have a video filmed of the Mars Toys Doc Brown, and I will be trying all of those head sculpts that make sense on like the part 2 doc and the part 1 doc, because I know a lot of people are curious. So I will be doing that in that video, so stay tuned for that. I have some other stuff I need to film. I'm just catching up on everything because I've had so much going on. But I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Elle, Payton, Mitchell. You guys are the best. Big Rib, each and every one of you. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time.